Oh, hello there. Yes, well, it is. Can't really say any more than that, I must admit. Not being vastly busy means the days are sort of just drifting by. Yes, shooby-doo-wah-wah-wah, as probably Paul Weller didn't sing. Anyway, yes. Yesterday we were faced with the usual examples of gloriously privileged people being totally unaware. There was this brilliant piece in the Telegraph from, of course, everyone's favourite expat, and certainly not economic migrant because of the dreaded Labour VAT fees, even though that's what she claims, Isabel Oakeshott, and ringing it in from a Sharia law country. Isabel Oakeshott, what my stupid accident in Tel Aviv reveals about truly world-class healthcare. The treatment I received in Israel puts the NHS to shame. Yes, link down below, you can read that for yourself. But the thing that got me about that, of course, is the way that it just exists in its own particular, it's all about me bubble. Because, of course, there are certain sections of the people who the Israelis are in charge of, if I can put it as bluntly as that don't really seem to be receiving very much healthcare at all at the moment for some quite serious things. Now, Isabel Oakeshott came off a scooter. She wasn't actually attacked by a drone or shot at by a Israeli tank. Yes, these kind of things might well give her a slightly different perspective on the Israeli healthcare, especially as, she's taken to a bombed-out hospital with no anaesthetic. Still, that's just me being, picky, isn't it? Yes, incredibly tone deaf. Anyway, she does, at the end of the piece, go on about the fact that, of course, Israel isn't the UK, and they do have very, very different demographics. Yes, it's a very young society, so they probably have a fairly large amount of money that can be spent on, things like healthcare, especially if, they're buoyed up by vast amounts of American money. Might have something to do with it, Isabel. You might want to think that one through, but no, obviously not. She'll obviously pull this face when it comes to being told things like that. Obviously, that's the white privilege face, isn't it? Yes, which leads us neatly on, of course, to the biggie yesterday, which of course was the rape grooming gang, whereby obviously various opposition parties want to keep this thing going, because even though we've had about half a dozen inquiries into the rape grooming gang scandal, we do need another one, which will keep this whole thing bubbling on for years, cost millions, make loads of recommendations, which when they're in power they won't implement. Speaking as somebody that has to do safeguarding training every year, I'm fully aware that once every 4 years there's absolutely horrific case of child abuse, which is looked into, big report, one way or another, and nothing changes because the party in charge doesn't want to do anything about it. You can think of all those other big, all those other big inquiries, McPherson or maybe Levinson, that absolutely led to nothing because, of course, you can't stop these people getting the money that they want and the privilege, that face again, position that they have. So we had this from the New Culture Forum, nay Peter Whittle. How can Jess Phillips call herself a feminist when she's burying the greatest scandal of our times? I think there's a lot of competition for that one. But anyway, the industrial-scale rape of young British girls by misogynistic men. Yes, it's awful, isn't it? Misogynistic men. I hope he's not going to narrow that field into just one group of people, which will make him seem racist. So let's read on. Yet again, Labour prioritises the Muslim vote, there we go, over the interests of British people. Yes, which is your classic, hey, how can I be a racist when I assume that the words British people don't mean certain other people that don't, quite look the same as, the same as Peter does. Apart from, of course, the white converts, maybe they're problematic. I don't really know. Morally repugnant, as he puts at the bottom. And yes, I would wholeheartedly agree for him. And here he is once again. Here is actually Peter Whittle. It's the critical mass of Muslim voters, not just the extremists. You see, yes, because when you want to double down on how you're just lumping groups of people together, then you really want to do it over and over again. And once again, pull that, oh my God, what do you mean? It sounds a bit racist. I'm just being, insert word here that's useful, like practical or realistic. Yeah, those whole race realists or the race scientists. Yeah, but they're not racists, are they? No, not that ever. They just have very big concerns about things that they won't do anything about. Of course, the inevitable go-to with these situations is, well, why aren't we prioritising? This isn't Peter's voice, by the way. This is my generic generic sort of white working class bloke, because of course Peter isn't. Peter only meets the white working class in very, very specialised circumstances, which if I really wanted to be rude about him, I could be, but I avoid that because it would seem to be, homophobic. Anyway, why aren't we prioritising, all them veterans asleep on the streets? Yes, indeed, why aren't we? And the answer is because nobody cares about them. They only come up when we want to make racist points, a bit like Peter Whittle, and indeed the Reform Party, and indeed Robert Jenrick, and the Conservative Party. Yeah, I'm not surprised, much as I dislike our current government, that they're not going to play that particular game. Who would blame them? And the answer is everybody, because they're bad people, because they're racists, because after all, something I saw, BBC advert from 4 years ago about only black people applying. It's dreadful out there. It's no wonder they pull this face. Yeah, you see, I'm going to get my money's worth out of that gif. Anyway, do have a lovely day. Do enjoy the sunshine. It's bubbling up to a very warm day. My pussycat is starting to look slightly happier. Hooray! I'm concerned about such creatures. A bit like humans, I think we should all be concerned about humans and not chop and dice them into small categories, some of whom we can just bomb whilst we're sitting comfortably in a hospital but 10 miles away. I can't understand the mentality that leads you to be in that situation where you can just pretend that things don't happen. It's astounding. Still, that's your libertarians for you. They're very interested in themselves and, by extension, no one else. Do have a lovely day.